Good to have you here. And by you, I mean Trevor, Gibb, our friends in the social media land. Look at that big smile on Trevor's face. Woke up early just to hang out with us and provide weather coverage.
Always.
Yeah.
I'll never say no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you joined us on a quiet day, but our meteorologists are always looking ahead, which I know is their job.
Right.
At least it's nice and quiet now.
It is quiet now, you're right. And it's also cold.
Yes.
It's still cold.
Very chilly.
I'm looking at the temperature map to my left right now. I'm still seeing, let's see, what's the warmest temperature on this map? The warmest temperature on this map is 37 in Ludington.
Toasty.
That's the warmest temperature in northern Michigan right now. It's a very cold morning, colder than it should be for this time of year. We're getting very, very close to the time of year that it shouldn't even really dip below freezing, even in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And on a dead still night like this, on nights where everybody, if you've paid attention for weather for any amount of time, you don't even need to be a meteorologist to know that on nights where you don't have any cloud cover and you don't have any wind, those are the nights that always get the coldest.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to be a meteorologist. Like, anyone who's lived a long time could tell you that. Anyone who has basic knowledge, you don't need to be a meteorologist to know that. But even on nights like that, like we had tonight and this morning, this time of year, we're getting real close. And it should, even on nights like that, it shouldn't get below freezing anymore. But it did. Mm-hmm. That's because we're not quite there. We're right on the edge of the time where we really shouldn't have that happen anymore. Mm-hmm. Which leads perfectly into the weather quiz, which is exactly why I have the weather quiz. I picked this weather quiz because I was like, you know what, this would be great today because it has to deal with exactly what we dealt with this morning. And it just, again, it leads to the point that I was just making, that like we're getting real close to that time period where temperatures should not be dipping below freezing until we get towards next winter. Yeah. Or at least the late fall, right? And once we're very close to that time.
Once you get through this, Trevor, if you can pull up the Drummond Island camera.
Drummond Island camera. Okay.
Yeah, after you go through the weather quiz.
After I go through the weather quiz, okay.
Yep, there's a reason. Yeah.
All right. So, the weather quiz this morning. When will the National Weather Service in Gaylord begin issuing the freeze and frost products? And whenever I say products, I'm talking about the freeze warnings. I'm talking about frost advisories, freeze watches, frost watches, those things. When will the National Weather Service begin issuing those again in northern Michigan? And I'm talking specifically about the northern lower of northern Michigan. I picked those words very carefully. When will they begin issuing those products in all of the northern lower for northern Michigan? The northern lower, not the eastern upper. The eastern upper has a separate time that they will do that. But for specifically the northern lower and specifically northern Michigan, which is basically everything north of Mecosta County up towards the south end of the bridge. The cutoff is Iosco County. So once you get to Alcona, you know what I mean. What we would consider the north. And then you just cut off the eastern upper.
It's a big debate, though. Where does northern Michigan begin?
There's a lot of people.
It's a debate. It'll never be settled.
Yeah, no, it won't. I've been to Paris in Mecosta County. A lot of people there will say that's where the north starts.
Okay.
Now, does everybody else agree with that? I don't know. I don't know.
I've heard there's a water bridge.
I've heard people say Big Rapids is where it starts.
Big Rapids.
I've heard people say that.
I've heard Cadillac.
Cadillac, yeah. Cadillac is the most north I've heard.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if there's a lot of people that think that, because I think most people would think that Reed City, which is south of Cadillac by about 20 miles, is still northern Michigan. At least I would consider it northern Michigan. It's in our viewing area. They get to see us, so I would consider it northern Michigan anyway.
It's true. Big Rapids is in our viewing area.
Yep, Big Rapids is also in our viewing area. That's why I think that's why there are some people that think that's where it starts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big debate. I'll let people decide that. I'm not by any means a geography expert.
It's controversial. So.
Or do I claim to know invisible borders that we draw up that are literally imaginary?
Yeah.
What if that was a real thing? They just like they just planted signs everywhere, like you are in northern Michigan.
Oof. I don't know who would be bold enough to put that out there. I don't think it's going to be MDOT. I don't know.
It's one thing to plant signs when you cross into a new state, but to get into a section of the state, oh, now we're talking.
Yeah. So the reason I asked Trevor to pull up the Drummond Island camera is kind of the reason, well, not kind of, it is the reason that you're filling in for Heather today. She is on a visit. She's heading to a visit on Drummond Island. She's going to chat with some students there. So she had texted and she said to keep an eye on the camera, suggested, I wonder if, wouldn't that be funny if we could see the storm truck? She's in the storm truck.
Oh, is she?
And okay, here comes a big truck. That's not the storm truck. Well, actually, this is really good. Do you mind pulling it up in the big screen, Trev? Can you do that?
Oh, yes.
Like for the big box?
Mm-hmm. I can absolutely.
And if we can just stay with that for just a second, I'm sure tickle Heather's fancy. Oh, is that it? I think that's the storm truck, Trev.
Oh, no. I'm trying to find it.
Go, 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 go.
I'm just going to pick a random camera.
That's it. And there's...
Oh, there it is.
Is that Stormy?
Yeah, I see it.
Oh, there's the storm truck.
Woo!
There it is. Hi, Heather.
Hey.
There she goes. That was perfect timing.
That was perfect timing. I couldn't find the Drummond Island camera, so I just picked a random one.
Well, you did a good job.
Graphics not on the banner's not on the screen anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter.
So Heather's now officially on Drummond Island. Just hopped on the ferry. Just got off the ferry, and now she's heading to go talk to the kids. I love it. Anyway, that's where Heather is.
Yep, that's where she was on
Drummond Island.
For that, so that's pretty cool.
So you can take it from here, Trevor. Thank you.
Right. Oh, right. And I guess we'll go back to the weather quiz just briefly because we didn't go over the answer choices. I'm like, obviously you could read them, but yeah. Anyway, the answer choices for that were May 10th, May 15th, and May 20th. So obviously you're thinking, well, we're pretty close to all of those. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's where I was like, that's the whole point of this question is that we're getting very close to that time where even the National Weather Service would issue these alerts and these warnings and these watches. Yeah. And the reason why they would do that is because at that point that they start issuing them, it's considered not normal. It's like, that's dangerous. It's like people have sometimes asked, it's like, why do they stop issuing them to begin with? Well, it's because once you get into the winter, you get below freezing all the time.
It's to be expected,
it's not even worth mentioning it anymore, right? Like there's no point in issuing a frost or freeze warning when you've got below freezing temperatures like 90% of the nights in the middle of winter, or frost advisories for the same reason.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's important to start issuing them around this time of year whenever farmers are starting to grow their fruit, their crops, and temperatures are warming up. And when you get to really cold temperatures like that and frost, they damage those crops, they damage those plants, and they damage the spring things. That's when it's important to bring those advisories and watches and warnings back. Yep. So anyway, one of those dates is the correct answer, of course. And then, without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into the day today. Well, the day today is a pretty simple one. There's not a whole lot to talk about. Obviously, it's cold to start. There's the temperatures. Even now, we're past 8:30 or 8:40 now, and we're still in the low 30s and even high 20s for some areas around northern Michigan. It's a very cold morning, and so if you still haven't left the house yet, but plan to within the next hour, you're going to need some. You're probably going to need some cold apparel. Now, if you're like me, which I will say most people are not, you will need some kind of winter coat protection. Now, I say that because I strode into work today when it was 30 degrees outside with shorts and a T-shirt. I'm not even kidding. My shorts and T-shirt are on the chair over there. That's because I just really like the cold. Anyway, it's a very cold morning, and it's going to stay that way for at least the next couple hours. It's going to take some time for the sun to really begin to warm things up. But eventually that will happen, and when it does, our temperatures are going to warm up pretty drastically for the most part. On average, we'll get up into the 50s, even a few 60s will be possible. Now, this hour-by-hour graphic that you're seeing here is the hour-by-hour average temperature. This doesn't mean this is exactly how it's going to go for other people. Some people will get way above the low 50s, and some people won't even reach the 50s. And the areas that I do not think will reach the 50s today are going to be those communities on the east side or along the straits that are along the shoreline. So specifically the Lake Huron shoreline, like Alpena, Alcona, Harrisville, Rogers City, even parts of far northern Sheboygan in the Straits. You're talking about St. Ignace, Menominee. I don't think any of those areas will reach 50 today. I think you'll be in the mid to low 40s for highs today. That's due to a very light southeast wind at times. Our temperatures, not a temperature, our wind is rather variable today. It depends on where you are. It looks like in the northern lower, in the interior, it should be a mostly south to southeast wind, whereas if you're along the the Lake Huron shoreline, it should be more like an easterly wind. And so, we've said many times that, when you get an easterly wind coming off of a still very cold lake, it cools down your land temperatures by quite a bit. So those communities expect it to be quite a bit colder today. Areas in the far interior, it'll be a lot warmer than that. I suspect a lot of areas in the interior will reach the mid-50s or even high 50s, and some areas could reach the low 60s today. Anyway, that's our temperatures. Beyond that, we're tracking in and out cloud cover. And I think I'm actually going to show, I am just going to use the Hearst Stormcast. We'll just use this one. So throughout the remainder of the day today, we had some clouds stuck in spots. I wonder how those clouds are still doing, actually. Sorry, my ADHD brain. All right, there we go. So there's still some stuck clouds in the eastern upper and off to the east today, but you can see some of that cloud cover starting to alleviate off to the east. I suspect throughout the remainder of today, some of those clouds that have been stuck in place all morning up there should begin to break apart, and overall, the day on average should be partly to mostly sunny. In and out cloud cover. We will begin to see more increasing clouds later in the afternoon and evening, which I will now show on Stormcast. Later in the afternoon and evening is when you'll begin to see more increasing cloud cover, and that's ahead of our next system. Our next system is really the one thing that we're actually focusing on. The day today, again, it's a little cooler for some people, but other than that, there's nothing really to mention. Other than that, we're not going to be nearly as windy today. That's another thing. It was very windy yesterday. None of that today. It should not be nearly as windy, especially if you're inland. And then late tonight, you can see by this point, or close to midnight, we should be basically overcast skies at this point with the system that close. And then overnight, we'll have those rain showers from this system moving in, steadily but surely, slowly creeping in. And then by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, it looks like we should be almost entirely encapsulated by widespread light rain, maybe even moderate rain for some, particularly in the northern lower. The northern lower looks like the area that will get by far the most rain tomorrow, especially in our southern counties that'll be under the most amount of rain. As of right now, again, a little bit of those smaller details are subject to change, but generally speaking, it should be a pretty rainy day tomorrow, especially in the morning. Looks like through at least the entirety of the morning, we should be under pretty rainy conditions, so a very muggy, wet day tomorrow in the morning. And then later in the afternoon, the brunt of the system will really clear out and will turn over to more isolated and scattered light showers by the evening. But the entirety of this rain won't fully depart until well overnight tomorrow. So we'll have rain chances for some people almost all day tomorrow. And with that, obviously, will be cloudy skies. We're not expecting any amount of sunshine tomorrow. Maybe a tad in some areas that get away from the rain in the evening. But otherwise, it should be cloudy all day tomorrow, a cooler day, and rainy. So make sure you've got your umbrellas because you're going to need them. And I'll show the rain forecast now as well, the potential for rain accumulation. That's what we're looking at. So as I mentioned, the majority of this rain looks like it's going to be in the northern lower. That's not to say the eastern upper won't get any, but it looks like as of right now, they're just kind of on the edge there, especially parts of the northwestern eastern upper. We're talking about like parts of northern Chippewa counties and Luce counties. You may not end up getting a whole lot. We'll keep an eye on that, but at the very least, the northern lower, it looks like everybody in the northern lower has got a chance for anywhere from half an inch to maybe an inch or even more. On the low end, some spots may only end up getting a quarter, depending on exactly how this system plays out. But based on the rainfall forecast, we can assume, and I think, that everybody has got at least a chance for a decent amount of rain tomorrow, which we do need. As always, I always say that this time of year, whenever we've got so much fire danger, as much rain as we can possibly get is always good. But beyond that, things will dry out rather dramatically, and we'll go for a stretch here for quite some time where it doesn't look like we're going to get hardly anything. So if you look at the 7-day forecast or the chance of precipitation over the course of the next 7 days, Thursday, likely rain. It's not often that you see the bar on the rain forecast that high. A lot of times it'll be kind of in the scattered widespread area. This is saying everybody's got like a 100% chance for rain tomorrow. So rain is a certainty for almost everybody, if not everybody. Now that'll calm down by Thursday night. We'll turn to, again, more scattered rain showers by Thursday in the evening. And then by Friday, we'll still have some lingering showers, I believe, on the back end of this system. It looked like we were going to have a lot on Friday, too. But now that we've gotten closer to time, it looks like a lot of that moisture will get canceled out by the cutoff of this system. And so Friday looks more like a few isolated showers, but still cloudy. Beyond that, we look dry for the next 5 days beyond that. The entire weekend, the weekend looks beautiful. Full sunshine, warmer temperatures, especially on Sunday. And, I mean, yeah, there's not much to talk about there. The chance for rain is basically nothing on those days. And we'll stick through that for at least the early going of next week. So starting with this weekend, starting on Saturday, we should have a good 4 to maybe even 5 days of really nice weather where there's no rain, and there should be a good amount of sunshine too. And speaking of which, there's the sunshine graphic. Saturday and Sunday and even Monday sunshine is almost a certainty at this point. Monday we'll keep an eye on. You know, when you get out that far, there's always a chance things will change, but the weekend at least looks like it's going to be really sunny. Again, Thursday and Friday, of course, pretty cloudy conditions for both of those days. But it's just a couple days, and then we get back to what we would consider spring weather around northern Michigan. And then the last thing I will show is the temperature outlook. I mentioned this, but we are going to get a warm-up around northern Michigan, and that's what it looks like. The temperature outlook graphic that I show here is a collective average of temperature forecasts around northern Michigan. So when you see the bar up to like the mid-60s or even low 70s, which we see there on next Thursday, that's an average, which means that a lot of areas will be a lot warmer than that. So I expect by early next week, we'll have a lot of 70s returning to the forecast, widespread 60s and 70s. And so it'll really start to warm up here. So we still have a couple cooler days, again, that being today in some spots. Tomorrow, certainly, with the rain and clouds around. We'll hold on to those colder temperatures until at least the weekend. And then once we get past Saturday is whenever our temperatures will begin to skyrocket into the 60s. So really nice weather is right around the corner, as they say, here in northern Michigan. And it's been a while since we've had consistent, really nice weather like that. I don't think it was too long ago, if I remember correctly, where we strung together like 3 or 4 days with warmer temperatures and nice sunshine. It looks like we'll get that once again, except the temperatures will be even warmer. We just came off the heels of the warmest day in 2025 so far as well, which was this past Monday, where we saw temperatures almost I think we either almost had 80s or we did have 80s in a couple of spots. I'd have to go back and look. But at the very least, there were some high 70s on Monday. It was a really nice day. We'll have more of that on the way very soon. Just have a little bit of a cold stretch here. I will be honest, about a week ago, we were concerned that there may have ended up being some snow in the forecast tomorrow with this system, and it looks like now it's just going to be mostly rain. Although we did get a report in yesterday that there was some light snow happening in the Sioux in the evening. I feel bad. I feel bad for people who live up there after the snow that we just had this season. Some people have asked, by the way, like if we broke a snowfall record in Traverse City. We did not. We missed it by about 40 inches. But Gaylord broke theirs by 20 inches. Fun fact. So that'll about do it. I'll bring up the weather quiz again.
Thank you, Trevor. We'll get some comments here. Chris is saying good morning from East Lansing. Mark watching from Fremont, Indiana, 50 degrees and sunny. It's sunny, but it's a little cooler where Susan is. It's 32 in Kalkaska.
Yeah.
Thomas, good to hear from you. We haven't heard from him in a while. From Fleetwood, Pennsylvania. Hope you're doing well, Thomas. Gail said, good chilly last day of April, 30 in Kingsley with sunshine. Nice little frost. Trees are budding.
It is the last day of April.
It is. Oh. Tomorrow's May.
May.
It's gonna be May.
May.
It's an NSYNC song.
May I have some sunshine?
We're all singing here. Something else, though.
Not for the first day of May.
Singing different things.
But.
And then the grass is green, Gail's commenting. We have Joel saying good morning from the truck, heading to work. 30 degrees and sunny, May 15th for the quiz. Bethel is joining us here. Bethel saying have a great day from Manistee. Alice is watching, saying good morning from Alpena, 41 here in Cloudy. You guys do a great job. So do you, Alice. Thank you for your You know what? I don't think we heard from Alice yesterday. How long has she been a weather watcher?
I have no idea.
I met her in 15. Oh, when did I meet her? It's like 2013, 14, 15, maybe 2016. Anyway, she's been a weather watcher for a while. So if you're still watching, Alice, let us know. Holly is saying good morning. Welcome to the conversation. Robert saying good morning, guys. Have a great day. It's 32 in Indian River. Maxine watching from St. Clair County, my home county, saying the storm yesterday went around us in Elginak. Gail guessing the 15th. So is Susan. So is Alice, Chris, Nancy guessing the same thing. She's saying it's 31 in East Jordan. Susie Q and Ron, they're making their way up north. They're in Macon, Georgia. Big old sun down there, 67. It's, looks like, oh yeah, the sun shining so brightly this morning. They're heading home. It's 14 hours they'll be home. They had a great vacation in paradise, but they're excited to get back home to northern Michigan. So safe travels, Susie Q and Ron. My mom's watching. Hey, Mom.
Hello.
Saying good morning, Brendan, Trevor, and Gib. Benji's loving it here in Traverse City. Saying Brendan's a wonderful host. Again, just reading the comments. We had to, you know what? I was about to say we put on a jacket on Benji yesterday, but I take that back. He did not have a jacket on. But today he very well could use a little jacket.
Yeah, he'd probably use it.
He has a little jacket with cherries on it.
a little dog sweater.
A little dog sweater.
Those pictures are adorable when I get sent those. the smaller the dog is, the more adorable it is. The little sweater covering their little body.
And they have the sweater has cherries on it.
Oh, isn't that cute?
How appropriate for northern Michigan.
How appropriate for Traverse City.
Uh-huh.
And northern Michigan in general. Cherryland.
He'll probably be here Friday with my parents. And then he normally just falls asleep here on the desk, Trevor.
Does he?
He's not. He's excited at the beginning. Loves to smell around, say hi to everybody. Gib barks at him. And then Benji settles down and he normally falls asleep. So, whoops, I'm throwing my phone around here. Dave saying hello from Breckenridge, where it's 36, clear sky. We have another varsity ball game to attend today, where it will
baseball?
be chilly, but hopefully less windy, if I'm reading that correctly, Dave. Guess is May 15th. Holly is guessing, that's right, yeah, she said good morning. I was going to say that name and face looks familiar from a few minutes ago. May 20th is her guess. Wally saying good morning, Trevor and Brendan. Answer to your question, May 15th. And to the question of the day, I cut my hair myself.
Whoa, really?
In terms
That
of...
must be hard.
Yeah.
How do you like... Oh,
Sometimes if you have like a three-way mirror or something.
I would need, that would be really... Yeah. I think even if I was a hairdresser, I would struggle with that.
So question of the day, I know we have a lot of questions. We're just very curious here, right, Trevor? We have our weather quiz and then our question of the day, which we ask on the TV side. Right. So that's where that's coming from. Today is National, I think it's National, because sometimes there are global days, but National Hairstylist Appreciation Day.
Yep.
So that's what's going on today. He doesn't, if I'm reading this correctly, he doesn't have any hair on the top. He has hair on the side, so he bought a clipper, and when it gets long, he just cuts it off.
Huh?
Makes it look like a push. Is that a hairstyle, a push?
Yeah, I have no idea.
He said, I just got out of the military. Looks like, maybe saying it looks like he just got out of the military. Anyway, Wally, thanks for watching and commenting here. Susie Q is guessing May 15th. My answer and everyone's guess, we always get a freeze, lots of plants lost. Wally's saying that's pretty cool. Heather's on Drummond Island. He's been going there since 1968. He has a niece who lives on the island year-round, and 3 brothers go there. My parents have a house or a trailer at, Basco? Maybe that's an area on the island. Not sure. Ellen's watching here this morning. Laura is chiming in, saying good morning. Hi, Laura. That's Adam's wife, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah. Chris, we're getting into this debate about where up north starts. So Chris says Mount Pleasant is up north.
Really?
Susie
That's
Q.
the first time I've heard Mount Pleasant as the start for northern Michigan.
Susie Q always thought Cadillac is considered up north. Kathy is glad to hear we're getting some more rain. Our friend and producer, morning show producer, Sarah, is saying, Hey, morning. She's still awake.
Go to sleep.
She put in a long, well, it's her day, a lot of people's night. She works overnights to make the morning show happen.
Yep.
Yep. Appreciate her and everything she does. Alice, 30 years as a weather watcher.
Whoa.
Isn't that incredible, Trevor?
That is crazy. That's longer than I've been alive.
I thought you were going to say that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Appreciate your service and dedication, Alice, for sure. We're having a weather watcher party here soon, so she'll get some.
Yeah. I missed the one last year. I'm going to try to not miss this one.
And yeah, it'd be nice to have you there, Trevor. Alice will get some pizza out of the deal. Yeah. Well, hopefully I'm not spoiling anything. Anyway, Jackie's saying good morning. It's 32 in Kalkaska. Jerry says no wind. The squirrels, the bunnies, and the birds are having a feast. Everybody's got to have breakfast. We have Ethan, one of our newest viewers, chiming in again. Hi, Ethan. He's saying good morning all from Sioux City, Iowa.
Oh,
Trevor's
Sioux
old
City.
stomping grounds.
Yep.
Well, Iowa at
stomping
least.
grounds.
Yep.
All of Iowa is my old stomping grounds. I used to chase everywhere in that state, so as far as I'm concerned, it's the entire state that's my old stomping grounds.
Have you been to Sioux City?
I've been to Sioux City.
Okay. Jackie's guessing May 20th. We have a friend, Christine, watching from Akiak. It's 34 and cloudy. Had no power for 7 hours yesterday.
Yeah, what's up with that? I heard some people lost, like, there were a lot of people that lost power yesterday. How'd that happen? Was it just wind?
It's a good question.
Because I know it was really windy yesterday, so if I had to guess, that was
Yeah.
probably what it was.
Yeah. Wally saying Bass Cove. Maybe that's another island, area of Drummond Island. And then Penny says there's always the natural look in Vanderbilt. If you need a haircut, just saying. Maybe Penny just saying, like, don't even cut your hair. Just let it go natural. What Trevor used to do.
That's what I used to do.
Before TV, yeah.
I used to not even bother.
And Ethan going with May 15th. Now we're all caught up on guesses and comments, Trevor.
I don't think I heard anybody say anything other than May 15th except Brendan.
There was one person.
There
who
was
said
there?
May 20th.
Oh, okay.
I think.
The answer
or if I'm making that up.
is in fact May 15th.
Yeah.
So I guess a lot of people are very knowledgeable on when the freeze watches and warnings and frost advisories and all that stuff begin to happen again. But yep, that is May 15th is when the National Weather Service will begin issuing those again. And again, that's for specifically the northern lower. The Upper Peninsula, not just the eastern, but the entire Upper Peninsula, they don't begin until the 25th. So they're 10 days after the fact. There's a look at our standings. Brendan's 1 for 3, and then everybody else got it right today. And Kathy was our viewer this morning. So thank you for chiming in. Nobody's perfect this week. I think the last time when I filled in for the entire week, I think there was like 2 or 3 people that were. I think it was Gib and Sarah were perfect until like literally the last day, and then I stumped them both. Hey, whatever. That was like 4 weeks ago.
Put a smile on Heather's face. Does it put a smile on your face, Trevor?
It does.
Yeah, when you stump us.
Yes.
Yeah. What else do we have? Oh, people holding themselves accountable. Gib, shall we roll that beautiful Upper 5 News Today footage?
Roll the highlight reel.
We do start at 4:30 a.m. We're awake. We're ready to provide coverage. Trevor's probably going to be sleeping at that time. At least I hope so.
Yeah, I definitely will be. I will not be back tomorrow.
Yeah, Heather's back tomorrow. She'll take that ferry back, go back to the mainland, come across the Mackinac Bridge, come back to TC, to home base. Anyway, we'll be there. And then Madison is going to be talking about, unless there's been a change, the GT Butterfly House and Bug Zoo. I think that's the correct title.
Really?
It's opening for the season tomorrow, Trevor.
Nice.
So we can actually go through the butterfly house and learn about the butterflies and other bugs and things.
I want to say that I went to a butterfly house when I was in Florida on vacation one time.
Oh, yeah?
It was quite the experience. The best experience that I've had with nature just going out was I went to I forget exactly what they're called, but it was like a monkey forest experience in Florida where I'm not even kidding. Like you literally just went out and like you would just go put like food on your shoulder and they just jump up on your shoulder. Like they're like not even remotely afraid of you.
The monkeys jump on your shoulder?
Yeah.
That had to be pretty cool.
I don't know if it were actually monkeys. I forget what the size. I think chimpanzees are the bigger ones, right? I
Yeah,
don't know exactly
chimps
what
were on
that
your
is.
shoulder. I think that kind of hurt.
But like they're the small ones. I'm almost positive the smaller ones are monkeys.
Yeah.
I don't know though.
That's pretty cool,
I don't
though.
know for sure.
Yeah, I went to a butterfly house in Key West, and that was a lot of fun.
You know what? That may have been the one that I went to.
Yeah?
I'm not even kidding. When I was on vacation in Florida, I think that may have been the one that I went to. Because I've been to Key West a couple times.
Yeah.
And there was one time I was there on vacation, and we did like basically everything you could do in Key West for a day. I took a picture that I still have on my phone of the southernmost point.
Oh, it's right around the corner from that butterfly house. Yeah.
Yep, it is.
I waited in line to get a picture with that.
Yeah, the line, no matter
Monuments, I
when you
guess.
go, is always super long.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy.
Yep.
Key West is like the biggest tourist place in like the entirety of Florida.
Oh, I love it.
It's so crazy. But we went in like the beginning of August. So
Oh,
my
super
Lord,
hot.
Was it hot and humid? And I hated it. Because
Oh,
if you know
gosh.
me, you know that I really love the cold and I hate the heat, which is why I live up here.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated it.
Oh, that's
my
got to be tough.
The amount of water that I go through on a hot day where I have to be outside, I drink like a camel. I'll go through like a gallon or more. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, I got to stay hydrated.
Because if I don't, I pass out, which I've done many times before.
Yeah.
In the heat, I legitimately pass out sometimes.
Yeah, definitely need the water and not maybe a margarita or rum. Key West is known for rum.
No, I don't even drink alcohol anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did that a little bit once I turned 21 in college, and I did a little bit for like a year after or so. But recently, like the past like year and a half that I've been working this job, I haven't drank any alcohol.
Okay. Well, if you need some rum, Key West has it.
Rum.
Yeah, yeah. What else was I going to say? I can't remember. Gib, anything that you want to say before we say bye? No? Okay. Well, Trevor, thanks for getting up early and providing the weather for us.
No problem. Go Stars.
Appreciate it. Did you have any more hockey comments? I can't believe this is the first time we've talked about hockey.
Yeah, I honestly was expecting somebody to ask a question about it. But at this point, we're well past 9 o'clock, and we don't really have the time for that anymore. I'd love to, but if I started, I wouldn't stop for several minutes. So I just thought I'd just leave it at that. Go Stars.
Go Stars.
They're
okay.
up 3-2 in their series right now in the first round. And yep. And Gibbs, an Avalanche fan, and my team's beating him right now. Just like they did last year. But I don't want to, honestly, I should keep my mouth shut because low-key, the Avalanche are actually the better team, and they're just not winning for some reason. The Stars don't even have their two best players, too. They don't have their best defenseman, and they don't have their best goal scorer from the regular season, and they're somehow still winning the series. And they also absolutely kicked the Avalanche up and down the ice in Game 5 to take the series lead. It was tied, and then the Stars won 6-2 at home in a playoff game. Yeah, Gibbs like, all right, I've heard enough of this. Let's go. I'm out. Go Stars.
All right, well, thanks for your time today. Bye.